There we go. We're recording.
Oh,
So anyway, anybody have any announcements or comments they want to make? Nothing? No upcoming events that are worth mentioning?
Has anybody gotten to work with the new masking items in Lightroom?
Not me.
no.
They just upgraded it a week or so ago, I believe, gave it masking capabilities. So you can make luminosity type mask and so forth in that. So if everybody's got the latest version, it'll be on there.
Okay. Anything else? Well, if not, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mark and let him have the floor. And I encourage anybody to have a question or a comment as it goes along, speak up. Mark, we like to see if we can get a little more interaction between everybody and our judge, to ask questions or, that type of thing. Nobody gets their feelings on their shirt sleeves over this stuff. We just try to keep the interaction going between our judge, which is kind of nice. In the past, we've only had your voice recording on tape, and the only way we could react to, we had to pause the tape and then talk about it. So.
I was safe back then. Now I'm not so sure, but I'm sure it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, thanks a lot for asking me. It's always fun to do this. I'm honored that you asked me, and I enjoy looking at your prints. I've done it for how many years ago? Bill, you said 20, and it quite possibly could be 20. We may have started this in the early 1990s, and then there was a few years where we didn't, but now it's nice to be back again. I'm glad that you're still meeting, and it's good to be with you. Okay, and if you do have any questions or comments, just pipe in, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I've never been a moderator on one of these things before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to look for the Google Drive, the prints, and I will start with the assigned subject, the in-flight, and then after announcing the winners, I'll move on to the open category. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'm going to share the screen. Okay, and it says share. Yes, thank you very much. I will do that. Okay, and where is my Google Drive? I believe it's right there. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Can everybody see that? Okay, so now I've got this guy. I've got to move this guy over here so it doesn't get in the way. And what I thought I would do is I would start with the last one of the 9, and then I will move up toward the front, leaving the honorable mentions and the first, second, and third until the end. Okay? So the first entry, the first entry we have here is the Nelson Art Block. Let me click that. Yes, there it is. I'm not sure what this is, and I'm not sure where this has been taken from. It occurred to me that this might be a drone image, and then it occurred to me that perhaps this was taken from high up in a building. And I don't see any movement here, any flight. The only thing I do see is the blurred automobile there on the right. And I thought that's a nice touch. That adds some motion to the image. Is this a public building in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, this is our Nelson Art Gallery in the block buildings. That's just part of them. That is a drone picture.
Okay. Okay, now how do I get back here? Oh, I think, okay, I'm gonna go. Now, how do I go back? This one, I think this one. Yeah, okay. So the next one, I gotta get I'm going to have to be moving this guy out of the way, and this guy meaning the list of members. Okay, now it's down at the bottom, and I think it's out of the way. The next one I see is the Montana birds. Okay, this is a good shot, and these guys are definitely in flight, and it's interesting. The splashes there are a nice touch because that definitely shows the motion. Okay, but some input I have on this is the shutter speed is not quite fast enough. It would have been nicer had it been a faster shutter speed to stop some of that. The other thing, it looks like the horizon is going downward. You know, the camera is tilted. I don't know if that's just the way the lake lies or whether it's tilted. And if it's tilted, that's something I guess that could be corrected. You got a nice reflection of the birds in there as well. Okay. So the next guy I'm going to find here, go back, and I'm going to go to Maxie. Okay. I guess this guy's in flight. I don't know who has the audacity to make a big sculpture of one of these Canada geese. You know, 40 years ago they were endangered. Now they're just kind of a big nuisance. And here somebody puts up a big memorial to it there. And my comment about this one is it does show the flight, but it's just kind of a static image. There's no live motion implied or anything. So it's kind of too static here. Also, I think you might do better if you try to crop off the tree on the right-hand side and maybe crop in a little closer to the pole on the left. And that would give you, that would really highlight the sculpture. How big is this, by the way? Is this like a 20-foot thing, or is this somebody got close to a 3-foot thing?
I don't know. I haven't seen Jim Jones. He's the guy that submitted that one. I haven't seen him on here yet tonight.
It's
Okay.
bigger than 20 feet.
No, it's a big one then. Okay.
Yeah. It's been there for years.
Okay. At least it doesn't leave any droppings, you know?
Yeah. Every 7 minutes.
Ever 7 steps.
Okay, the next one is the in flight. Okay. And at first I thought, well, yeah, this is just an ordinary image, you know, what's the big deal with this? And then I saw the wing. The wing made it kind of cool. It's it really is kind of an interesting aerial shot, and I can't tell what kind of plane that is, whether it's a regular commercial airline. It's not strong enough, wasn't strong enough in my opinion to make it into the winners list, but it is an interesting photograph. Now the question that I have is, where did you ever find an airplane window that was as clean and clear as this one is? I hope you weren't leaning your head out the window or had the window rolled down or anything, but that's extremely clear looking out that window. My impression of airplane windows is they got all kind of grease and crud and stuff like that. It's never this clear. Okay, and we'll move to the next one. And the next one is the heron. And a couple of comments on this. You've gotten very close to the heron. Either that or you used a long lens. I don't do birds, but occasionally I'll be in a place where there are some herons. But boy, those things are skittish. You know, you get anywhere within maybe 30 or 40 feet. If they're aware that you're there, they just hightail it out of there. So the good news on this one is that you're really close to it. And that's interesting. Also, you've got yourself a good reflection. You can see the guy on the bottom. But my comment is the overall image is it's kind of flat. There's the heron mixes in with the reflections of the trees, and the tones are quite the same. And basically you can only see the neck of the heron, and then you can see the shadow down below. But the issues here are technical issues with this. Okay, good concept, but I think it was difficult under the circumstances to get that. Okay.
Who put that one in?
Bill, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Where'd you shoot this one at, Bill?
South Lake Park.
Really? Okay. Okay.
It was just, he was standing there and I started to walk up to take a picture and he took off and I took a quick shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And I agree with your comments. I don't know. I tried to separate the bird from the background, but I had a difficult time with it.
Right. Right. You are nice and
That-
sharp on the picture.
That reflection you got underneath him is fantastic. I love that. I love that. You got two images of that bird in one shot. That is great.
Thanks.
Okay, and the honorable mention, it's up top here, hang on, is Flying High. Flying High, hello, there you go. Okay, I kind of like this guy. Let me move the pictures here. Gotten the group in there in all the wrong places. And I can see the bird coming in. The bird is definitely flying high. That's an in-flight. And what I think makes this image is the tree, and there might be one other bird up there, but all the other nests, there might be two other birds up there. But I think that's what makes the image. And the fact that you have a white sky actually adds. It adds to the contrast. It brings the details of the tree out, and it brings you can clearly see the bird coming in. Now, normally, some people tell you not to put the center of interest way up in one of the upper corners, but that's okay. It works in this situation, in my opinion. So this is a very cool image. And by the way, another plus to this is it's kind of a nice tree, you know, without the leaves. You got it in the wintertime, something like that. This is okay by me. Honorable mention. And move this out of here. Now, okay, got to move down here. We'll move back. And the third place is Free Flight. Okay, I'm consulting my note here. This is very good sharpness, definitely in flight. He's up in the air, and you've got a simple composition here. Very simple. There he is out in the open. He's got plenty of room to breathe, and you also got cut the clouds in the right place, because it looks like the clouds are actually part of the contrails or the exhaust or something from this guy's hang glider, and that kind of adds to the image. Got a few other clouds over there, and I think this is a good one. Nice, sharp, and a simple composition. Maybe it can crop off a little from the left. Maybe you can leave it as it is. That's a judgment call. Okay. Third place. And second place is Birds of Thunder. Birds of Thunder is by Travis. Okay. This is a great shot. You've captured these guys nice sharp. You've frozen these guys in the sky there. You can see the exhaust, the contrails, and I'm hoping that's real and not Photoshop. I can't tell the difference. You got some nice movement. You can see the movement in the clouds, it's like you're panning along with the aircraft, and that's a good shot. Excellent. It's a good composition. It shows the motion. It's got a good background, and all the technical elements are there. Okay, second place. And that leaves first place is, where is it? The Death Spiral. That's Calvin's. And boy, this one really tells a story here. Let me get this, if I can get this guy out of the way. I have to put him up top. Sorry about that. Yeah, this one tells a story. They got a couple guys in flight here. They are they're fighting over something, territory, food. Just occurred to me, are they birds of the same species? I guess the guy with the white head is an eagle.
They're both
I'm
bald
not
eagles.
sure. I'm sorry, they're both bald eagles.
The dark-headed one is a juvenile.
As a juvenile, okay. Trying to establish himself among the old timers there. Yeah, this is good. Beautiful detail in the birds. You got the wings spread on the far right. I'm asking a lot here, but it would have been nice if the guy with the white hair was the white head, the bald head was the one on the right, the main bird. But that's the way it is. But you still got another one. You showed the action. It's near a tree. Your exposure is good. Your sharpness is good, and this probably tells the best story of any of the ones in the in-flight category. So this is a great shot, both technically and compositionally. So, okay, nicely done. Congratulations, Calvin. Okay, moving on down. We're going to go into the open category. And I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom. And move these guys back up to the top. Okay. And basically starting from the end, except for the award-winning entries, I'm going to start with the very large array. And this is a cool shot. This is a very interesting, it's an interesting subject, and you've got it composed reasonably well. Okay.
Okay.
You got the great big telescope here, and it's a nice touch that you got all the little ones in the distance down below in a nice parallel line. You've got some people in there that add perspective. I think the grays all go well together. The only thing that I think you should do, normally I don't say should, but if it was me, I would have cropped off about an inch from the right-hand side. I would have cropped right about here. This guy doesn't do you any good, and you're just bringing the composition over a little bit, maybe to here, but I think you keep the people at a reasonable distance there. I think you could get a better shot just by cropping that little bit off the right-hand side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
The next is we got to move along here. The next one is the the structural integrity. The structural integrity. Come on, there you go. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the top. Pardon me while I do this. I like this kind of shot. This is my kind of shot. You're exhibiting some real strength and some real power. You got a nice close composition in here. There's another one I like better than this one, and so this didn't make the cut. And I guess the one thing I could say is there's too many dark tones and not enough light tones. The tones that you have, the tones you've captured, appear to be true. If you tried to make them whiter, it might be a problem. But the reason that this didn't make an award is because I liked another one better. Very sharp, nice, tight, and you got a good pattern on it. I like the rivets, but I liked another one better. Okay. And I can do that. And the next one is Peekaboo. We have a lot for this person here. Yeah, this is a very tall one. And this is a good photograph of the person here, of the cheerleader. Good lighting on her. You can see the good light in the dark. And she's obviously, by her outfit, she's a cheerleader. And I think the pom-poms kind of tell part of the story. But the question I have, the issue that I have with the photograph is there's nothing else in the photograph that lets me know what's going on. Can't see any football players. You can't see any fans. You can't see any stands. It's just the person standing out there all by herself. Is this a practice? Is this after a game? I don't know. You know, technically it's a good photograph, but I think there's something missing, and the something is part of the story. Okay. And I'm going to move on to the next one. And the next one is Early Morning Light. Okay. This is another good shot. I like this. I think you have good lighting on that. I think the flowers are really nice. You've got good shadows here. And if you've listened to me drone on for 20 years, you probably picked up that I really like shadows, and you got good shadows here, okay? But what I think the problem is you've got probably the entire right side of the image here that I don't think adds anything. If you could crop it off maybe right here, maybe just to the far end of the, what is it, the ball of twine or the little gadget here, or maybe right here, and get rid of the pot and get rid of these things, I think that would be emphasizing the flowers and the arrangement and the shadows on the table. Good shot, but I think there's too much in here, and I think you can do without this right-hand side. Okay. And the next one here, before we get to the awards, excuse me, is Devil's Den. And this is another case of a really good shot. You know, you've got all the tones. You've got your whites. You've captured the whites. You don't have anything that's really blown out. You've captured the dark tones. You know, you have detail down here in the lower left, and you have detail down here in the lower right. And this is rendered well, and all these things, the lights and the grays and the whites. But I can't see any one part of this that really jumps out at me. Okay, this is too much. If there was one thing, like one little cascade of water, or one big rock, or one small piece of a tree that stood out, I think that would make it a stronger image. What I see here is just a conglomeration of things by the stream. I wish there was one thing that jumped out. Okay, and the honorable mention print is the one called Strat. One called Strat. Did I double click it? There I did. Okay, this is another simple composition. You've got good lines. Technically, it's good in your exposure. You can see some nice muted whites in there, but they're white enough. This is dark, and it's supposed to be. It's too bad that you got the text on there. I guess that's the name of the hotel or the building. You can't help that, but I think it's kind of cool. It's an interesting representation of this building. Now, the question that I had is this the reversal of a daylight shot, or is this actually a night shot? Not everybody at once. Who can tell me?
I don't know. This is Travis's. He's the one that had to run out to check on his daughter.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if he's still listening or not.
But I think it's a cool shot. It's a very good composition. So yeah, this is a good honorable mention print. And I probably should have said at the beginning, this is all subjective. Somebody else might pick something different. I don't think I'd pick anything on a different night, but if there were more entries, that's a possibility. This one, it jumps out at me. I like it. Has some good points. And the third place print is grab hold. Okay. And this is the other structure shot. The first one was the beams. This is the other structure shot, and you got a lot of nice lines in here. You got these really dominant horizontal lines, but then you have the interrupting vertical lines. You got the handle over here, and you got this whole, I guess this is a space in between train cars or subway cars or something like that. Very well composed, very sharp from side to side. You got nice depth of field. I kind of like this structure. I liked it better than the other one. That's a personal preference. This is a very nice shot. This is something that I would take. So nicely done on this one.
Where'd you get that, James?
The train cars that are up at Atchison.
Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting.
Is that in Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe?
Yes.
Yes. How about that? I'm old enough to remember that. Okay. Second place is walking on a wire. Okay. Boy, it could have been in the assigned subject, but I guess he wasn't really in flight. He's just kind of he or she trying to keeping his balance on the wire. You got great detail in here. Everything sharp from the tail. Maybe you lose a little here, but that's okay. You hardly see that. Feet are sharp. You got feathers in here. You got the eye. You got the beak. You've got the obligatory catch light in the eye for the portrait. It's a great composition. Everything else in the back is blurred out. You can't see anything. You don't need to see anything back there. You do see the wire. You're cropped close in. This is a very nice shot, and I like it for second place. It's very nicely done.
Thank you.
And that leaves first place. That's the big boy, I think. Is that what you called it? Yes, the big boy.
Boy.
Yes, this is a big, strong, giant center of interest. A good subject here. It hits you right in the face. And having such a big, strong subject like that, the only thing I can say is there anything wrong with it? It's a simple composition. It's an easy picture to take. Is there anything wrong with it? And I can't find anything wrong with it. Okay, you see all the numbers here, the big boy and the numbers, and you see the wheels and the cars is still apparently this is still active. It still pulls some things along. The sky is okay. It doesn't. Maybe you manipulated the sky a little bit, but that's okay because it doesn't get in the way of the rest of the stuff. Very sharp, which it should be. Your exposure and your rendering on the digital image are very good. The only question I have what is this little white guy down here? Is that, you know, it looks like it's splashed in a puddle, but I know that can't be the case.
It's a bleed off of the hot water in some of the apparatus there. It's probably going, yeah. This train was moving about 40 miles an hour.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. You caught it good.
Thank you.
A nice fast shutter speed on that. Yeah. Okay, so this is first place. A lot of good images tonight. A lot of good images that I saw throughout the process. Keep up the good work, and thanks a lot for having me. Okay, this is great. I'll go back there. Okay.
Hey, Tom, whereabouts were you when you shot that picture, big boy?
Harry was with me. In fact, Harry picked out this spot.
Really?
And it was north of Unity Village.
Okay.
That was our second stop that afternoon. We started off at down around Greenwood, and then we hopscotched over downtown Lee Summit and ended up at this spot just south of, like I said, of Unity Village, where it came through. It was worked out to be a nice direction for the lighting and everything. A little too much sky for my taste, but I had to deal with it.
Sure. Yeah, that background, that hillside, I would not have imagined that was down around Unity Village.
It's
Oh,
down,
yeah.
yeah, it's down the hill, and
Oh,
if you go up the hill to the south, I mean to the north, farther. Pardon me, it's not south of Unity Village; it's north of Unity Village.
okay.
Toward Lakewood. Yeah.
Yeah, back there behind Unity on that north side, like you're talking, there's a lot of forest areas, there's little lakes and everything, trails and all kinds of stuff down through there.
When Harry and I got there, there was about 8 people there. And by the time this train went by, there must have been 300.
Wow. Oh, I'm surprised you got that without a bunch of people that, you know, in the off on the sides of your shot.
Well, we had to protect our site, believe me.
I bet.
Our spot. Yeah, I wish you could see the color one of this. It's pretty spectacular.
I did. I think that's the one. I think you posted a picture of that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
If we ever get together, Calvin, I've got a video of this, and it kind of shakes you a little bit. The noise and everything comes through.
The power of that engine and also the sound of the whistle, you know, which has a unique sound of its own on these big boys.
Oh yeah.
Just absolutely rattles your teeth as that thing went by. It was a phenomenal experience of power.
Bill Staudenmaier and I went out on K32 to an area that we've been out before to shoot steam engines coming through. In fact, I think we shot Big Boy there once before, but there's a lot of people out there, but it's a big wide open area. So we were able to get out away from the crowd. So we didn't have, 20, 30 people in our field of view. And we got some really great images of this thing coming through there.
Great.
It's impressive.
It's fun to shoot.
Where'd you shoot at, Calvin?
It's a right by construction yard out on K32. Bill, do you remember what that cross street was? I think it's like 86th or something like that in K32. This is on the south side of the highway.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. East of 435.
I can't remember. I'll tell you what. I can pull up a map and I'll email it to you where we went. If it ever comes through again, that's actually a good place because you can get on both sides of the entrance out there on the construction entrance. And it's just a wide open area. We were out in the grass field. We shot images of it. I mean, you can get close as you want, or you can get back as far as you want, and there's enough room for everybody spread out there. And that's what everybody did. They all kind of spread out. The ones that probably did not get a good shot were the ones that got about 15 feet away from the track trying to get a picture of it that went by. Oh, they're going to get a piece of a wheel or something when it flies right in front of them. We were able to get shots like this where you could see the entire engine coming at you.
Yeah, I've been shooting out at Linwood and they're just west of Bonner. And I was able to get up on top of a whole bunch of railroad ties. So I was actually almost looking down on it. So
Yeah,
kind of a
this last time before this came through, I went out about 2 weeks before and I scoped out areas of the track that were good to shoot all the way out to about an hour west of Topeka. Out in some rural areas that thought, man, this would be a great place right here. You got, you had a wide open shot of the rails. The thing also out there in K32, a lot of people don't realize that trains travel on the track, on double tracks, the same way we drive on the roads. You drive on the right side of the road, and if you're, if the train is leaving Kansas City, is on the south track. If he's coming in, he's on the north side of the tracks. And I've seen people in the past go out there and they're on the wrong side of a track, and another train comes across just at the time this one would be passing, and they get nothing.
Yeah.
But the rule of thumb is they drive on the right side of a double track.
Or they don't
This,
have the front side.
This engine and tiller and tender are about 135 feet long. So you need to think about allowing a little extra space
Oh, yes.
for that whole thing when it comes down that track. And I think this was at least 100 yards away from me.
Mhm.
That was the best shot in that whole series that I took. So you can't quite get it when it's right on top of you. It's
No,
not going to fit.
Because out there where Bill Staudenmaier and I were shooting, we saw people that were right up against the track, and I thought, I don't know what you're going to get there, folks. You're going to get
Right.
a piece
Right.
of it. That's all you're going to get is a piece of it. But yeah, we were able to get the whole unit, the tender, and even some of the cars coming up behind it.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
a story from about a year ago. There was a judge, and he was talking about a lot of the images. Well, there are several railroad bridges in downtown Columbus, and my friends and I, as well as other club members, they will go to these railroad bridges, and there's at least two tracks, and you got the girders, and you're looking down through, and it's the metal on the top and all that. And the judge says, well, this photographically, this is a very good shot, but I can't give it an award because you're on railroad property and that's illegal. And, hey, you're not a cop. You're supposed to judge the photograph. And so there are a lot of people hot about that comment. You like this, you like that. That's fine. But then when you bring in something that isn't related, yeah. So has that stopped us from doing it? No. We go to the railroad bridge, we go on the tracks. We're careful. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the last time Big Boy came through this part of the country, I was down by Garnett, Kansas, shooting video and still photos at the same time of Big Boy coming down the track. And I almost took my drone with me, and I'm glad I didn't, because as it was coming out of Garnett, I spotted about 4 or 5 drones hovering over the top of this thing, trailing. I thought, and I was actually kind of waiting for a couple of them to crash. They were buzzing around that thing like bees, but yeah, I won't fly my drone around it because there's too many people doing the same thing.
Now, did I hear that this is probably one of it's going to be a long time before that thing gets out of the house again?
Don't know. It was actually going to come through last year, and because of the COVID, they put it off till this year. But I think Union Pacific likes to get one of these out at least every other year or so, or every 3 years. We haven't seen 4014, or we haven't seen Challenger's 3985. I think is the number. It's almost as big as this one, but it's a couple of drive wheels short of being a big boy. It does articulate in the middle, but I haven't seen it for years. I know they've still got it and still running, but they haven't run it for a long time.
Don't
Well,
they
it cost them $4 million to put that big boy on the tracks. And then you can imagine it was gone for 34 days on the tracks. So, the cost of that was way up there in the millions, but it was great publicity for it.
Oh yeah.
hundreds of
Don't you have
thousands of
one that,
people.
Don't they have one that runs from Cheyenne to Denver?
Yeah, all of them, they do a run out there, because, they have short runs. You can buy tickets. Say, for
Yeah.
example, if I want to buy a ticket down at the Union Station in Kansas City, they would probably take me out to the peak and say, okay, you're done, get off so the next bunch can get on. And those tickets aren't cheap. It's kind of like, when they bring the old, Flying Fortress in up at the downtown airport, you could buy a ticket on that, but your flight really wasn't all that long, but they'd get as many people through there as they could just to let them have the experience. In fact, Tom Wedbush, didn't you take a flight on one of those?
Yes, I did. It was a few years back. And was really it was really worth it. I think at the time it was $400, but I'm sure it's more than that now. But yeah, it was worth every nickel.
Yeah, I don't remember what the tickets. I was looking at the tickets on this big boy, and they're pretty pricey, for a single pass, but it still had to be something to be fun to take a ride on. But your ride's not really that long, and I don't know if you have to make your arrangements to get back to your starting point or how they do that.
Yeah, they took off from the downtown airport and they came back and landed there.
Right? Yeah, taking a flight on one of the old warbirds. That's you understand that because they're going to bring you back to the starting point. But on these trains, I don't know. They take it in one point and drop you off, and okay, see you later.
It's like back home.
Yeah. I remember I think you turned in a shot you took out of that B-17 looking back at downtown.
Yeah, I took that a long time ago. That was back where the radios were, and they didn't have the top canopy on. So once we got off the ground and he said, you can take off your seatbelts, I stood up and just held the camera out. My head was sticking out, and I just took a picture of the tail section, the vertical and horizontal stabilizer, and then of the downtown airport. It came out pretty neat. And that was with a little Kodak camera. I mean, I didn't have any. It was not with my Canon, but it came out good.
Yeah, I remember that. That was an awesome shot.
Guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. I'm going to revert back to you. Let's see if I can find it here. Stop the share. Okay, there we go. I'm back. Let me get rid of some of this other stuff there. Okay, here we are.
Well, it was nice to see you, Mark. It's been a long time.
Put faces to all the names that I remember from all those years. Most of the names are still here. That's good. Thanks again for inviting me.
Yeah, we had a few people didn't show up tonight. I'm kind of surprised they didn't, but I don't know. They might have something else going on too.
Well, that happens. Yeah.
You were talking about number of years. I think we actually got started with you judging for us with Tony Kovac. I don't know that anybody really remembers him.
Oh, yeah, I
Before my
remember
time.
Tony. Okay, yeah, that's a name from out of the past. Tony was a very active PSA member. I was a very active PSA member. I'm still a PSA member, but I'm not so active anymore. But yeah, Tony Kovac from Kansas City. That's right. How about that?
Hey, Mark, have you looked at our club website lately?
I have not.
We got a hold of several old photographs going back, Bill? Some of them went back into the 30s or early 40s.
Yeah.
And we actually made copies of them and posted them on our website. And actually, all those prints have been turned over to the Wyandotte County Museum for archiving. They wanted them. When I talked to them about they were chomping at the bit to get their hands on them. But we copied those and posted them. I think they're on a tab called historical photos or something like that. This goes back to some of these photos belong to the Bernadette Anderson who founded the club back in 39. But there's some old shots in there, Kansas City. That just, I love looking at those because it's like stepping back in time when you look at some of these photos.
Yeah, sure. That's nice. I'll take a look. Yeah. Okay, I think the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the stop recording button. There you go. Are you sure that you want to stop recording to the cloud? Yes, thanks